Hey there, this is Ashley, your host for the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. Do you want to make some memories and travel with your family? It's not as hard as you think. Let's go! Hello, and welcome to episode 21 of the Ready, Set, Depart podcast. We're so glad you're here. I got up the other morning and it felt like fall. The leaves are starting to change and there's a chill in the air. And that change has me thinking about tropical getaways and beach vacations. And since I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, let's talk about one of the best tropical getaways there is for your family, Oahu, Hawaii. When you think of Hawaii, this is probably the island you think of. Waikiki Beach, Diamond Head, North Shore, Pearl Harbor, Honolulu. This and so much more is what you'll find on the island of Oahu. You may remember that we talked about the big island of Hawaii a few episodes back. Check out episode 2 if you'd like to learn why you should take your family to that very laid-back island. But today we're talking about Oahu, and Oahu is a contrast of many things. High-rise buildings and rainforests, big waves and soft sand beaches, with things you won't see in any other state, like a palace, a battlefield, and a state fish whose name is longer than it is. Here's a little travel trivia for you. The official state fish of Hawaii has a name that seems impossible to say when you first see it, but it's actually pretty easy once you figure it out. Okay, are you ready? It's called the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a. Quite a mouthful, isn't it? But if you just say it slowly, Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a, then it's really not that bad, right? All right, it's still a little hard, but you could also call it a triggerfish if that's easier. In fact, Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a means triggerfish with a snout like a pig in Hawaiian. How it came to be the state fish is kind of interesting. In 1984, the powers that be noticed that Hawaii did not, in fact, have a state fish. So the search began. Many different fish were brought forward, but the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a got the most support, mostly from school children who really liked them. However, there was a little bit of pushback because you can find the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a in other places besides just Hawaii. So in 1985, they declared the little triggerfish to be the official fish of Hawaii for 5 years. So 1990 comes and goes, and no one really notices that the time has come to make the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a the official fish. But in 2006, they did notice, and they made it official. So next time someone asks you what the longest state fish name is, you'll be able to proudly say the Humu Humu Nuku Nuku Apua'a, or triggerfish. But adorable little fish aside, why would you want to take your family to Hawaii? Let's talk about it. Oahu has Waikiki Beach. While there are better beaches on the island, Waikiki is the one where most tourists go, and for good reason. The sunsets are amazing. It's close to most of the hotels in the area, and there are fireworks on Friday nights. There is just something about laying on the beach and watching fireworks in December that is amazing. Plus, the waves at Waikiki are pretty small compared to the other side of the island, so it's perfect for littles. Pay attention to the weather because the waves do get big sometimes, but normally they're just lovely and calm. One time when we were there, when Trooper was about 3 years old, we found the perfect spot near a seawall that was under some palm trees, so not so hot. And the waves were small enough that he could play in the water or dig in the sand. We also went out very early in the morning because Trooper was still on Pacific time, so he was ready for the day to start at 6 a.m. local time. So there weren't very many people around. It was a great place for him to enjoy the water and the sand. But my favorite memory from that trip was when he was walking in the little waves and a crab, complete with eye stalks, rode the wave right between his legs. He squealed and ran towards me, and that poor crab looked like its life flashed before its eye stalks. It still makes me smile to think about that. Oahu has places to see animals. You know us, if it involves animals, then we are there. Honolulu Zoo is on the south side of Waikiki Beach, so if you're staying there, it's an easy walk. The 42-acre zoo is full of some pretty amazing animals, including some that are very culturally significant to the Hawaiian Islands. Not only will you see lions and elephants and hippos and giraffes, but you'll also see nene, which are Hawaiian geese. Unlike their close relatives, the Canadian geese, they are non-migratory and they nest in the winter rather than the summer. They're also quite a bit smaller than the Canadian geese, though scientists have found evidence that the nene used to inhabit most of the Hawaiian Islands. You can now only see them on the Big Island of Hawaii and a reintroduced population on Maui. We were able to see some nene when we visited Volcanoes National Park, and it was really fun. They are adorable little birds that are the official bird of Hawaii. Keep your eye out for the kolea or Pacific golden plover, which some believe are the reason the ancient Hawaiians came to the islands. They just followed the kolea. You can also see pueo or Hawaiian short-eared owls and the io, which is the Hawaiian hawk, along with so many more. Seeing native animals is one of the most interesting parts about going to zoos all over the world. If you continue to go south along the water, you'll get to the Waikiki Aquarium. With exhibits both inside and out, there are a lot of really interesting things to see. From the bigger than you think they should be monk seal to the seahorses, it's a beautiful place to visit. Could you visit both the Honolulu Zoo and the Waikiki Aquarium in one day? Sure. But should you? I don't think so. You're on island time now, so that means that you don't need to rush. Pick your favorite, or if you have time, visit both, just on different days. Oahu has hiking. Now remember that the weather is almost always the same on Oahu. 85 degrees with Mauka showers. Mauka means towards the mountains, but if you watch the weather, that's what they say almost every day. So if you take that and the humidity that sits around 60%, hiking is going to be sticky and sweaty, but there are some beautiful places to see. One of the most popular hikes is Diamond Head, that ancient crater that looms over Waikiki. Brent has hiked this trail, but the rest of us haven't. He wants me to make sure you know that the last part of the trail is stairs up into the bunker. The views of the island are amazing, but there is no shade or water on the trail, so go early and take plenty of water. As he said, the hike is strenuous, though short. You gain about 560 feet in 0.8 miles, so it's basically straight up. If you are a visitor to the island, you will need to make a reservation to hike the trail. Just Google Diamond Head Reservation, and it'll take you to the Division of State Parks where you can make your reservation. Another great hike is to Manoa Falls. You'll be walking through a lush tropical rainforest on this 1.5-mile easy hike. It is sticky, it is busy, but it is beautiful. Be prepared for mud and take plenty of water, but even your little ones will love this one. Here's a travel tip. If you're not used to hot and humid locations, we recommend keeping salty snacks on hand at all times, especially for the littles. Goldfish crackers are a great source of some salt that most kids will gobble down. Adding a little bit of salt to your water doesn't hurt either. Not enough to taste it, but enough to keep your electrolytes up. Don't be like us and have your 10-year-old almost pass out on a very hot day in Japan. Oahu has some great treats. After a hot and humid hike, it's time for a treat, and Oahu has some great ones. Up in Haleiwa, which is spelled Haleiwa, but said Haleiwa. On the north shore of the island, there is Matsumoto shave ice. These are not the snow cones you're used to, my friends. Shave ice is something different and very Hawaiian. The shop is small but popular with often a long line. It is totally worth it though, because I always like to know how to do things before I get there. Here's how you order. First, you tell them what size you want. The larges are large, so your keiki or kids will probably want the smaller one. Second, you pick your toppings. We love adding some vanilla ice cream to our shave ice. The condensed milk is okay, but the azuki beans, which are Japanese red beans boiled in sugar, were not our favorite. But I know a lot of people who like them, so if you're feeling adventurous, go ahead and get them. Next, you pick your flavor. I personally love the lilikoi, which is passion fruit. Brent likes the tropical, which is a combination of lilikoi, guava, and mango, and Trooper just likes whatever we gave him. He was pretty small at the time, though. There are about 36 different flavors, so you'll be sure to find something you like. You and your kids will be sticky when you finish your shave ice, but you will be happy. Another distinctly Hawaiian treat is malasadas. Well, maybe not distinctly Hawaiian because they're Portuguese-style deep-fried pastries that are similar to a donut, but the fillings are all Hawaiian. Leonard's Bakery is the place to get your malasadas on the island. In fact, I just saw that they're now taking online orders for pickup or delivery, and that is amazing because this place is busy. I wish they delivered to me. You can choose from the normal custard filling, but I personally love the guava. So good. I'm tempted to hop on a plane right now to go get some. There is a beautiful restaurant on Waikiki Beach that serves amazing seafood and a dessert that will keep you coming back. Duke's is the name of the restaurant, named after the father of modern-day surfing, Duke Kahanamoku. He also won 6 swimming and water polo medals in the Olympics. The dessert is called Kimo's Original Hula Pie. It has a chocolate cookie crust, macadamia nut ice cream, hot fudge, toasted mac nuts, and whipped cream. And it is huge. One piece could easily feed 4 people, especially if you had a yummy dinner beforehand. Go to Duke's. eat some seafood, and finish off with a hula pie. You'll thank us. Here's a travel tip. There are actually 6 Dukes locations across the world. Maybe not world, but across the Pacific. There's one in Waikiki, one on Maui, one on Kauai, one in Huntington Beach, California, La Jolla, California, and Malibu, California. So if you're in the area, definitely stop by. We've been to the one in La Jolla, and we can tell you the hula pie is the same. Oahu has a swap meet. At least that's what they call it, though I've never seen any swapping going on, just buying. But it is a fun place to go. Wrapped around the Aloha Stadium, the University of Hawaii football stadium, you'll find the appropriately called Aloha Stadium Swap Meet. This is a great place to find some cheap Hawaiian shirts and dresses. There's also some vendors with locally made things. Just note, they are only open Wednesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and you do have to pay $2 a person to get in, though 11 and younger get in for free. We have often found buy one, get one free coupons in the books that you see all over Waikiki, so take a look to save a little money. Here's a travel tip. If you can't get to the swap meet or you're not there when it's open, the international market in Waikiki has similar things. You won't find a lot of locally made things, but there are a lot of great Hawaiian shirts. Oahu has a lot of pineapples. If you love pineapples, Oahu is the place to go. And if you love to eat pineapples, then hop on over to the Dole Plantation for some really great food that is almost completely pineapple based. Learn about pineapples and where they grow and what they look like. Ride a fun little train with great music and interesting facts. And don't forget to get a Dole Whip, just like in Disneyland. But one word of warning, eating too much pineapple, especially if you're not used to it, can cause stomach upset and canker sores. So keep that in mind. Oh, and here's a travel tip. If you're a Costco member, find the nearest Costco on Oahu and get a pineapple there. They are cheap and almost always perfectly ripe. Remember though, you'll need a big knife to cut them. Oahu has snorkeling. While Brent and Trooper are not huge fans of the water, I am and always will be a water baby. I remember coming to Oahu with my parents when I was young and my mom explaining that snorkeling was a little bit scary, but fun once you got over being afraid. And I just put my face in and off I went. She loves to tell that story. She thought I was so brave. Anyway, there are a lot of places to go, but our favorites are Hanauma Bay, which has an entrance fee and isn't open every day, and Sharks Cove, which doesn't often have sharks. Hanauma Bay is a state park and has an entrance fee, like I said. It's also closed on Mondays and Tuesdays to give the wildlife some time off. But it's popular for a lot of reasons. It's an easy in and out, meaning you won't be fighting with the waves in your flippers. It's protected from a lot of wave action, and it's big. You'll see some fun animals, though the really great stuff is past the breakers. If you're a novice, don't go past the breakers. The waves are tiring, and you might not be able to easily get back. Sharks Cove is just north of Haleiwa on North Shore, so it's not a great place to go in the winter. That's when the big waves come in. But outside of that, it's usually pretty docile. The entrance to the water is a bit more rocky and difficult to walk into, but there is a lot of sea life. We've seen lots of turtles, humuhumu nukunuku apu'a'as, and we've even heard people talk about seeing sharks, though I didn't go over that way because sharks are not my thing. There is a very protected section to the left if you're facing the water. Snorkeling would be hard because the water's shallow, but we've seen interesting things over there and found one of the coolest shells ever called a striped paper bubble. It's pink, black, and white striped, and when I first saw it, I honestly thought someone had painted it. If snorkeling is on your list, here are a few thoughts. Know your limit. If you're not comfortable in the water, get a pool noodle and let that help you float. Wear sunscreen or a UV shirt because your back will get burned. Don't touch the animals. They deserve to not be harassed. Don't climb the rocks and never turn your back on the ocean. A lot of people get banged up on the rocks or worse every year. Don't make an ER visit part of your trip. If your kids are afraid of wearing a snorkel mask, get a tortuga. It's what they call a sea window, and Trooper talks all about it in episode 2, so take a listen to that. Get your own snorkel gear at Walmart or Costco if the idea of renting them makes you squeamish, because it makes me squeamish. Follow the posted rules and have fun. Oahu has some great museums and cultural centers. I didn't really expect there to be great museums on Oahu, but there are. The top ones, in our opinion, are the Bishop Museum, the Polynesian Cultural Center, and Iolani Palace. The Bishop Museum is a cultural museum in Honolulu. There is the Hawaiian Hall, complete with a giant sperm whale sculpture, the Wayfinders, a planetarium, and a science center. It's a great museum, so if you have time, stop on in. Here's a travel tip. You will see a lot of Hawaiian used throughout the islands. From the street names, and if you've ever heard a GPS try to say Kapiolani, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's hilarious. To the weather, you're going to learn some of the language. When going to places with entrance fees, you'll probably see ka'amaina. That means locals, and keiki, which means kids. Learning new languages when you're immersed in them is so fun. You can also find cute books with the different names in ABC stores. There are ones for adults that are very serious and ones for kids, so take a look. The Polynesian Cultural Center is a great place to experience the many cultures that make up the Pacific Islander community. On the east side of the island sits Brigham Young University, Hawaii. When it was built in 1955, there weren't a lot of places for the students to work, so they built the Polynesian Cultural Center. This place is more than just a luau, but they do have great luaus. It's a place to learn about 6 different Pacific Island cultures: Tonga, Tahiti, Samoa, Aotearoa, which is New Zealand, Fiji, and Hawaii. At each village, you have the opportunity to see different dances or make things or eat things or play games. We love the haka presentation and learning how to make fish out of palm fronds. Iolani Palace is an amazing place to go if you want to learn more about the history of the islands. In fact, it's the only palace in America. This is where King Kalakaua and his sister who succeeded him to the throne, Queen Liliuokalani, lived, had state dinners, and ruled the islands. The Hawaiian monarchy was overthrown in 1893, and since then, the palace has been used for a lot of different things. But now it's a museum dedicated to keeping history alive. I didn't know this part of history before going to the palace, and I'm glad to have that knowledge now. And finally, Oahu has Pearl Harbor. I think we've all heard about Pearl Harbor, the place the Japanese Imperial Navy bombed in 1941 that got America into World War II, sinking or damaging 21 U.S. naval vessels. 2,400 Americans died that day in this surprise attack. When I was in school, I learned about Pearl Harbor, and it was just dates in a book. It didn't seem real, but then we came here and we went out on the USS Arizona Memorial and read the stories, and history came alive. I truly don't think a visit to Oahu is complete without visiting the Pearl Harbor National Memorial. It's free to visit the Visitor Center and the USS Arizona Memorial, but you'll need a reservation to take the boat to the memorial. Right now, the Navy's doing some preservation work on the USS Arizona, so you may not be able to go to the memorial, but you can still see it from the shore. What is the USS Arizona? The Arizona was a battleship that was sunk on December 7, 1941, killing 1,177 crew members. It was sunk in shallow water, so the ship is just feet below the surface. The memorial, which spans the ship, was built as a tribute to the fallen and a symbol of their sacrifice. When you're on the memorial, you can feel the somber atmosphere because this is the final resting place of so many sailors. Don't skip the museums near the visitor center and let history come into your heart too. And don't forget to get your stamp from this national memorial. There's one last thing I want to talk about, and that's the green taxes and closing of some areas to give it a break. The green tax will be added onto your hotel, short-term rental, or cruise ship stay, and will be used for the environment. Some places aren't open every day like they used to be. All of this is Hawaii trying to balance tourism with their ecosystem. Going into your vacation, knowing that you'll pay a little bit more, but keeping in mind that it's going towards making Hawaii better for everyone, tourists and locals alike, I think will be helpful. Remember to go to the area you're visiting's actual website. Sometimes the times in Google are wrong, to make sure you won't be going somewhere on the day it's closed. Plan accordingly, and you'll have a wonderful time. Before we go, here's what we talked about today. Oahu is the island most people picture when they think of Hawaii. Waikiki Beach, Diamond Head, Pearl Harbor, and Honolulu all call it home. We learned about Hawaii's quirky state fish, the humuhumu nuku apua'a, or triggerfish, and how it became official thanks to school kids in the 1980s. Waikiki Beach is perfect for families with calm waves, gorgeous sunsets, and even Friday night fireworks. Animal lovers can enjoy the Honolulu Zoo and Waikiki Aquarium, both offering native Hawaiian species alongside more familiar favorites. Hiking highlights include Diamond Head for sweeping views. Remember, reservations are required, and Manoa Falls for a rainforest adventure. Treat yourself to island favorites like shave ice at Matsumoto's, malasadas from Leonard's Bakery, and the famous Hula Pie at Duke's. The Aloha Stadium swap meet is a fun stop for Hawaiian shirts and souvenirs at great prices. Pineapple fans will love the Dole Plantation, complete with food, a train ride, and of course, Dole Whip. Snorkeling spots like Hanauma Bay and Sharks Cove showcase Oahu's sea life. Just remember safety tips and respect for the ocean. Cultural gems include the Bishop Museum, Polynesian Cultural Center, and Iolani's Palace, America's only royal palace. A visit to Oahu isn't complete without experiencing Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona Memorial, a moving place to reflect on history. Friends, Oahu is all this and so much more. It really does have something for everyone, a mix of beaches, wildlife, food, hikes, and history that makes it unforgettable for families. Have you checked out our shop lately? We have a beautiful Hawaiian sticker that will help you not only remember your trip, but it could also encourage you to take the leap and go to Hawaii. Go to our website for not only the stickers, but all the pictures and transcript from today's show. So whether your family loves history, hiking, or just relaxing on the sand, Oahu is an island full of memories just waiting to be made. And remember, let's keep making travel with your family easier, one trip at a time. See you next time. Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, be sure to share it with your friends or even leave us a review so others can find it. Follow us on Instagram at Ready Set Depart Podcast. This is Ashley with Ready Set Depart. Remember, traveling with your family and making memories is not as hard as you think. See you next time.